All right, we're back. We live to see another day. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna react to woke TikToks. Let's get into it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, today we're doing what we do best on this channel, reacting to woke TikToks. I'm not even gonna hold y'all up. We're gonna get straight into number one.
I don't know what it's like to be a woman of color, but I do know that if I were a woman of color, my number one thing, like no-brainer, would be that I would have no white women friends. Because one, the odds of that white woman being like a good person are low. The odds are against you because she's probably going to be a white supremacist. She's probably going to be at least racist, minimally. And at the very, very least, she's going to most likely tie herself to white men above all else, like above other women. Two, the amount of weaponization of emotion that I see just from white women on this app is crazy.
It's so funny because she's saying don't be friends with white women because they're going to be racist while she's being racist. I mean, like, blatantly racist. This is wild, the accusations that are being made here. White women, how do you feel about this? Do you value white men above all else? Are you racist? Are you a white supremacist?
The amount of times that I have seen, like, you made me feel sad and therefore that's bad. Oh, that made me feel weird and therefore the law is that is bad. Like, it is so weird how they have decided that their emotion is law. And also just their desire, our desire to speak opinion on that you know nothing about. Like, why is your opinion about Beyonce's Grammy so big? Like, because it didn't affect you and therefore it doesn't affect anyone because your feelings are law? And like the halftime performance, I've seen, it's so annoying. Like, what the are you talking? I wouldn't have a single white friend.
Okay, wow. That has 157,000 likes on that TikTok. That's absolutely insane. Now, she's pointing out characteristics that she doesn't like in individuals that have nothing to do with being white, which is interesting. You can find people, like she described, in virtually every other race, I guess, except for the characteristic of being a white supremacist. You'd probably have to be white to believe that. Why don't you just say, I don't like people who have these characteristics, rather than attributing them to whiteness, while you are sitting there saying this with your full chest, being a white woman yourself? That's crazy to me. So you either hate yourself or you feel like you're an exception to the rule. And if you are the exception, would you grant that there are plenty of other white women who are just like you? Not that that's all that great, considering she's being blatantly racist towards white people in this video. This is either self-loathing or a lack of self-awareness? I don't know what's going on here, but we're gonna move on.
I know I have to stop reading the comments, but all these dudes are like, oh, women just don't understand the amount of rage and pain we have to take out at the gym. Honest to God, what the do you know about pain as a man? What the do you know about suffering? Like, seriously, riddle me this, bitch. Like, do you actually think in your pea brain that the average man has had a harder life than the average woman? Do you really think that? Like, the whole world is set up for y'all to succeed and get away with crimes. And what, you're still bitching and moaning? Get your together. What the is wrong with y'all? Like, oh my God.
Oh, okay. So much anger. So much anger. And again, a hasty generalization. We had the generalization about white women. Now we have this generalization about men, that they cannot experience pain or don't have traumatic existences because they are men, and that the average woman has a harder life than the average man, which is not really substantiated by really any evidence that we have going on right now. It seems like men in our society in general right now are struggling, young men in particular. So what does she have to say about that pain and that trauma? And that it's not to exclude the pain and trauma of women or to say that one has it harder than the other. I think there's just different experiences for different people. And on an individual basis, we experience pain and trauma in all different types of ways. And this hatred that you feel towards men should probably be investigated. And I hate to be the person who says not all men are horrible, but not all men are horrible. And in fact, many of them in large numbers are struggling right now. Now, what you attribute that to, I imagine she'd say patriarchy, but even still, to completely discount the pain and trauma that any person experiences, whether they're male or female, doesn't exactly make sense. And I don't know what the big gender battle is these days, where we have to claim that one has it way worse than the other. It's really not helpful. It's not moving the needle. It's not getting us anywhere. And it certainly isn't helping to alleviate anybody's pain or trauma. So that's great. Maybe we'll get a less angry one on this next one.
If you're not sure why this is happening, I can explain it to you. It's really simple.
Why, what's
White
happening?
people are throwing an epic fucking tantrum, a death tantrum, right? Because the United States of America has always been a project in white supremacy. And then when after 200 years, Barack Obama became president, white people lost their collective fucking minds and attached themselves to Donald Trump, right? And then they did it and attached themselves to Donald Trump 2.0. So they hate black and brown people so much, and they got so fucking afraid of seeing someone in charge that wasn't white, that they're literally willing to fucking ruin all of this, right? It's that person who hates the game so much, they just fucking flip the board, right? F everyone. They're just gonna flip the board, right? They're gonna take us all down because they hate fucking black and brown people that much. And trans people. And women. And disabled people. And Muslims. You know. You guys know the drill.
I don't know the drill. I don't know what's going on right now. I said, you know why this is happening? What's happening? Obviously, he's talking about the Trump administration, but what are they doing that's ruining anybody's lives or, you know, flipping the game board off the table? So far, I haven't seen anything that crazy going down, so I'm not sure what he's even referring to. Beyond that, he's blaming white people for this Trump administration that we're all living under currently, when if you look at the numbers, when you look at the voters, you're going to find a whole ton of people of color that voted for Donald Trump in numbers that Republicans haven't seen in quite some time. So we're talking about Latinos, Hispanics, we're talking about black people, we're talking about Muslims, Asians, whatever marginalized demographic you want to refer to. They voted for Donald Trump in large numbers. So how do you explain that? Is that them throwing a white supremacy fueled tantrum and trying to flip the game board as you are accusing white people of doing? You know, it's this sort of thinking about why Trump is president that is going to keep people like him or people with his ideology in power, because you're not listening to those who voted for him. You're not asking why it actually happened. You just want to just attack and throw blame on people. And again, it's a white person calling out white people, saying they're all white supremacists and racists and yada, 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 throwing tantrums. There's a lot to unpack there. I'll leave it to him, though. Okay, next one. Okay.
Well, if women were just nicer to men, maybe men would be more open to feminism. So actually, women were subservient to men for thousands and thousands of years and had to be nice to men so they didn't die. And guess what? It didn't get us any closer to men seeing us as actual human beings. Women are literally conditioned from day one, from birth, to be as patient and polite and understanding with men as physically possible. And most men never notice that because they see that as completely normal. Any man who expects extra hand-holding and coddling on top of all that, just in order to see women as human beings deserving of respect, deserving of equal rights, deserving of safety in society, is incredibly selfish. The fact that many women who have experienced unimaginable levels of cruelty at the hands of certain men continue to advocate for things like men's mental health and men's ability to express themselves within society proves that this point is ridiculous. You don't advocate for something just because everyone in the group was nice to you. You advocate for something because it's the right thing to do, because everyone deserves to be treated as a human being and deserves to have proper rights within this society. That is not too much to ask of you. That is not too much to ask of anyone.
I mean, I don't know that I disagree. I just don't know that I've really heard this argument that you need to be nicer to men in order to get them to adopt feminism. I would argue that you should be nice to men who are not standing in the way of your feminist values, and to lump them into a group and say that they're all horrible or all deficient in some way is probably not the most helpful thing for your cause. So if that translates to you as be nicer to men in order to push forward feminism, I guess that's what I'm saying. I just don't know what's going on here, because I don't know what other rights you need as a woman that you don't currently have in society. And I think we're currently in this pendulum swing of male and female roles that is creating a clash because there is no longer balance. And I saw a video of a guy talking about this recently, that we're in a society where generally things are pretty safe. You know, we have law and order for the most part, at least when we compare it to human history and some of the atrocities that happened in the past. And because women feel safe and society is generally safe, they don't rely on men as much. And that power differential, or that biological differential that was once so apparent in society, is no longer really there anymore. So there's not much that women need to go to men for, i.e. protection, providing, making sure that everyone is safe and sound, making sure that you and your kids survive. It's no longer a necessity. So now we're in this battle of trying to figure out, what do we value in each other? How are we treating each other? Do I feel respected by this party? Does that party feel respected by me? And because there's no transactional nature to our relationships anymore that is reinforced by just like this evolutionary push to survive. We're battling it out and we're figuring it out. And women are angry and men are angry and women are sad and men are sad. And some people are finding their way in the midst of all this and connecting with one another. But at some point, we're going to figure it out. When she talks about women and the struggle that women have, I mean, looking at today's society, you can't really talk about that anymore. You're getting out educated in comparison to men. You're going to be out earning men. Where's the struggle? And what rights are you missing? I'm not sure. Next. Moving on to a different topic. This one is body positivity or fat phobia or healthy bodies. Let's see.
Does the model in this advert look too thin? The Advertising Standards Authority thinks so and has banned the ad by fashion brand Next. They said the model's pose, camera angle and styling and emphasis on the slimness of the model's legs made her look unhealthily thin in this photo, which they said was irresponsible. Next said the 5'9" model had a healthy and toned physique, and that the pose was chosen specifically to show how leggings fit on both straight and bent legs, saying an image of the leggings on their own may have misled customers into thinking it was a loose-fitting style. It said its stylist and product image manager had met the model in person and did not have any concerns about her health. The ad is now banned from appearing again in its current form, and Next has been told that its images must be prepared responsibly and not portray models as unhealthily thin. The BBC has contacted Next for comment.
That's insane to me. How do they know that that model is unhealthily thin? What if that is just her natural body proportions? And of course, you have to juxtapose that with the fact that we are in a society that is glorifying illness and obesity left, right, and center. And I don't think we'd be getting a story like this if the model on the cover of that magazine was morbidly obese. That is absolutely insane. And imagine being that model whose probably natural frame is now being denied after you've done the work. That is work, income, that is publicity, that is your face getting out there, and now they've deemed your body to be unhealthy in a world that is consistently glorifying unhealthy behaviors and unhealthy bodies. And even if we wipe that away, let's think about the fact that we've been promoting body positivity for how long now? But I guess the body positivity does not extend to those who are skinnier than others. Make it make sense. If I'm this model, I'm suing. And I feel like she'd have a perfectly strong case of saying, not only am I a healthy individual, but this is the work that I was hired to do. It's work that I've been doing. And how dare you label my body unhealthy? We are truly living in the upside down. We have one more video though. So let's close it out.
If you take a week off of work and people are asking you questions because you are quite literally the only person that knows the answer at the company, you're not making enough. If you have to provide a coverage doc for work, if you are taking 1 day of PTO, if you have to meet with somebody prior to you going out of office for 1 day to make sure that they are able to continue doing your job and that nothing slips through the cracks for 1 day, you should be making $1 million a year minimum. What? If your manager needs more than 2 weeks notice, if you're taking off work for 1 day, let's say you're taking a long weekend, you're taking off Friday, maybe you're even gonna work in the morning and you're gonna take the rest of the day off, you should be making $1 million a year, or you are not getting paid enough money.
What? Where is she getting the number $1 million? What if you're working at a company that isn't even worth $1 million? What? This makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm truly trying to think it through. I understand what she's saying. She's saying you're pivotal to the structure of the company and therefore you deserve to be paid more without any knowledge of what the person is being paid or how valuable they are. But I'd argue that if you are an employee who can not show up to work or call out of work or be gone for a day and everything goes smoothly, then what are you at the company for? If I am a business owner and you can leave and I don't notice that you're gone and everything is just working perfectly smoothly, then maybe I don't need to hire you at all. So if you leave and something's missing, I'm like, okay, well, that's great. I'm glad that, I don't know, Erica is doing her job and I'm glad that there is a hole left here when she's gone. But that doesn't mean that you're automatically valued at $1 million or that you deserve a raise. I feel like there's a lot of other factors that go into that, especially when we consider the fact that she has no idea what these individuals are being paid. But this TikTok video has over 440,000 likes on it, which just goes to show that I think a lot of these people are not business owners, nor are they aware of the practices that take place within a business. And if this is your mindset in regard to work, there could be something perfectly valid there, that you are not being paid enough and the company will feel the weight of that when you're gone, and you should be evaluated for a raise. I'm not saying that that raise should be up to $1 million, considering I have no information about your job. But if this is your mindset to the extent of you think you're worth $1 million because you're gone for one day and things are not working perfectly, you're probably not going to end up being a millionaire. If I had to guess, this young lady with her mindset is not going to be a millionaire. Maybe she'll prove me wrong, but when she does, it will be because this mindset has drastically changed. And that's not to say that people don't deserve to be paid more. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who absolutely deserve a raise, but to just automatically assume that because things naturally aren't happening when you aren't at the job that you're supposed to do makes no sense to me. That is wild. Okay, guys, it's the final woke TikTok of the day. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know how you feel about it. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, do get up and do so respectfully. We encourage healthy debate on this channel. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.